Welcome to SEF2 Arena. I'm JB Buno. Every year when the women's and men's basketball schedule is announced, everyone, whether it be parents, players, coaches, students, anybody, is looking for one date to circle, one event to circle on their calendar to look forward to in February. That date is today. It's Big Purple Growl. The UAlbany women's basketball team will be trying to tame the Bearcats of Binghamton, while the men's team will be trying to gain some ground in the America East Conference battle as they take on the Catamounts of Vermont. Welcome to Sports Report. So this is ATV Sports Report. Once again, I'm your host, JB Buno. On the right side of your screen over here, we have Joe Rapolo and Brian Gabay. On the left side of your screen, we have Adam Manson and Ashley Latimer. So, like I was saying a little earlier, this is the biggest event of the year next to Fountain Day. In terms of UAlbany athletics, the biggest event on your calendar is Big Purple Growl. Students circle this date months in advance. I mean, they get really excited for it. But, Ashley, why does the students look forward so much to Big Purple Growl?
Well, JB, as you can see, it's a lot of fun. A lot of people start showing up, and it's just a really good chance for everybody to come together, for the athletes to support the other athletes. And I've been coming here. This is my second Purple Growl, and the last one was really good. I didn't think it could top it, but oh my God. Look at it. Look behind me. There's so many people here. It's crazy.
So Adam, students have been lining up since like 10 o'clock this morning for tickets. Why do you think they do this?
JB, I've been coming to this game for so many years. Between friends, family, students, this place is just electric. I mean, just look at it back here. This game is going to be a great game.
So Joe, I know you're a basketball enthusiast. The highlight game today, the feature game, is Vermont visiting here at the University at Albany, taking on the Great Danes, our Great Danes. So what do you expect?
I'm expecting a lot of intensity from both sides, JB. This is always a big game when UAlbany plays Vermont. This rivalry has really picked up over the last couple of years. It's excellent that this game just so happens to fall on Big Purple Growl because it's going to get crazy in here. It's already a madhouse. Game hasn't even started yet. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what happens.
Yeah, I know you mentioned the Vermont-UAlbany rivalry. It's been going on for seasons. And, someone who's a rookie to this rivalry is Brian Gabay. Brian, I know you're a transfer here. This is your first year at the University at Albany. So talk to me. What do you think about this right now? This is new to you.
It's absolutely crazy, JB. It's so loud. There's so many people. The atmosphere is so intense. Everyone's coming out to show their school spirit. I'm really excited for this. I can't wait. It's going to be a great game.
So the biggest thing about Big Purple Growl, other than the games, is the fans. The fans are the ones that make Big Purple Growl what it is. So a little earlier on outside, I actually was with some of the fans online in the freezing cold. Let's take a look. Every year, students look forward to the three biggest events on campus: Fountain Day, Park Fest, and Big Purple Growl. Big Purple Growl started a little over a decade ago and has now become campus tradition. Students wait in blistering Albany winter cold to get tickets for the must-see athletic event of the year. Big Purple Growl aims to pack the house, and it does every year, as tickets for this year's Big Purple Growl sold out at 2 p.m., 2 hours before the women's game and 5 hours before the men's. Students dress in the prestigious Albany colors of purple and gold and scream loud enough to shake the banners up in the SEF2 Arena rafters. I went outside to talk to some of UAlbany's most faithful fans on a cold afternoon in Albany. All right, we're here at Big Purple Growl, and we're here with
Liz.
Liz, how long you been out here?
Since around 10? We came out here at 10 in the morning, and then we came back like around 1.
Wait, how many people were here at 10?
No one.
All right. So you're here for the women's game or the men's game or both?
Both.
All right. Is there one you're more excited for?
The men's basketball.
Yeah. Do you know who they're playing?
Vermont.
All right. They're playing Vermont. Who's your favorite player?
Barraza.
Luis Barraza?
Yes.
right, thank you, Liz. All right, what's your name?
Oh no, not me, no.
Anybody?
I'll do it.
All right, what's your name?
Leonard.
Leonard. Who are you here to watch today?
Marcus Blakely for Vermont.
Marcus, oh, you a Vermont fan?
No, I went to high school with him.
Oh, you went to high school with him.
Yeah.
All right, so are you rooting for Vermont or are you rooting for Albany?
I'm rooting for Albany, but I'm going to watch Marcus throw it down a few times.
Oh, yeah, you think he's going to bring it?
He's going to throw down at least 2 dunks today.
What do you think? You think it's going to be a packed house, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be crazy in there.
All right, man. So one more time from outside Seth Q Arena, I'm JB Buno. I'm here with
Leonard.
And Leonard's excited.
Yes.
So the first game that we have up today, before we get to the men a little later on tonight, we have the women. They're taking on the Bearcats of Binghamton. Now, this hasn't been the greatest season for the women's basketball team. You know, they've been struggling. They're 3-18 as of now. They're 1-7 in the conference. Ashley, what's going on with the women's team right now?
Honestly, JB, I really couldn't tell you. They were pretty good a couple years ago, and I think they've just been slipping out ever since. You know, this is a really important game for them, just in the sense that it's such a big event. You know, as you said, they're only 1-7 in the conference, and the win was to an 0-8 Maine. I think Albany, if they want to remember this season, they're going to have to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a really big game for the women. If they do beat Binghamton here at Seth Q, it could be a highlight for the season, something to build off of in the next few years, especially with recruitment coming in. Adam, what are your thoughts on the women right now?
JB, no doubt they've been struggling. I think the big number that we haven't talked about is their road record. 1-11. I mean, 1-11. I mean, you got to be bad to do that. JB, I do predict this game will be close because Binghamton is not that good.
This game could be close, you know, backed by the fans. Who knows, some adrenaline pumping. Albany could pull one out. What do you think of the women this year, Joe?
I think that inconsistency has been the name of the game for the women, unfortunately. They'll come out and have a great game one night and be totally flat the next night. But hopefully they show up today. It's a big game. They're going to have a lot of their friends and family here to support them, so we'll see what happens.
Now, Brian, you know, this women's team was good a couple of years ago when you weren't here. Now you come here and they're not so good. Are you a curse?
I guess I give them bad luck. What can I say, JB? To be honest with you, I'm a little nervous. As we mentioned before, their record is 3-18. They need this game to give themselves pride. I really wish them the best of luck.
So, let's go right to the highlights. We got the Bearcats of Binghamton taking on the Great Danes of Albany. Let's go. The Albany women's basketball team seen here amped up for their afternoon game against SUNY rival Binghamton. Let's get started. First half, Janae Aiken hits this long J, but she's over the line. That's only good for 2, but hey, let's give her another shot. This one she lines it from beyond the arc. That's good to go. She was 3 of 6 on the deep ball. Binghamton's Jackie Golden was 6 of 7 from the field. There she gets the funky hook shot to fall. Janae Aiken responds. Big purple growl. This, the 3 is good. Albany women's team was down by 5 at the break. Ashley Latimer, what do you think?
Hey JB, I have to say, the first half started out pretty strong with both teams charging the basket and getting some points in. It was really close, it was back and forth, and both teams did very well. Binghamton then switched to a zone defense, so it was really hard for Albany to get in and get some points, and I think that's what they really need to work on. They need to work on getting inside and getting those 2-point shots rather than the 3-pointers. Other than that, though, the first half went pretty well. The score 23-26 of Binghamton. That is Janae Aiken scoring the first 8 points, getting Albany started. It looks like it's going to be a really good game. I'm Ashley Latimer, and that was my halftime reaction.
Thank you, Ashley. Second half, watch here as Brittany McGee and Janae Aiken play a little trickery. A quick move by Aiken gets her back door. She gets it to go, plus the foul. On the next Binghamton possession, the shot doesn't go, but there's Jackie Goldner again. She responds with an and one of her own. Here, the point guard, Brittany McGee, she's going to whip a pass inside to Tiffany Johnson. McGee had a game-high 6 assists. Andrea Holmes, one of the top freshmen in the conference, nails this 3. And Janae Aiken says, anything you can do, I can do better, and she connects from distance. Under 2 minutes to go, Aiken finds McGee underneath. Albany had the lead late. But right here, this was the heartbreaker. Andrea Holmes hits this three, plus a foul. She hit the free throw for the 4-point play. Here on the replay, there's the contact that would give Holmes the extra point. It's good to go. With 3.5 seconds to go, and Albany needing to go the entire length of the court, Brittany McGee brings it down, and her shot, oh, close, but it doesn't go. Albany loses the first game of Big Purple Growl 66-63. They fall to 3-19 and 1-8 in the America East.
Oh, so close for the women's UAlbany basketball team. They end up losing 66-63, like you just saw. You know, we were right. You know, we thought that they were going to put up a fight. Towards the end of the game, you know, a lot of fans came into the building, you know, getting ready for the men's game, but they actually started cheering on the women. You know, that brought a really big boost to the women's basketball team, and that probably gave them a really big surge. I mean, Brittany McGee hit some huge buckets down the stretch for them, but Joe, they just came up short. What do you think?
Just a little bit short today. They did bring the intensity in the second half. They came out a little flat to begin the second half, but Coach Patterson called a timeout that really energized the team. They tried to get themselves back into it, but just couldn't pull it out at the end.
Brian, this is a rough loss for a UAlbany women's team that was 3 and 18 before this game started.
Yeah, JB, very disappointing loss for them. They needed their pride. They needed this game to win. They really did. Unfortunately, they did play hard, though. They really did play good. Unfortunately, it wasn't good enough.
So Ashley, you gave us our halftime reaction, and you were talking about what UAlbany did, needed to do to win this game. So talk us through what happened in the second half.
Well, JB, what they really needed to do in the second half is really break down their zone defense. And at the start of the second half, they really stepped it up. They started doing that. But the problem is that they're very inconsistent. They made some really nice plays here and there, but it wasn't all the way through. And that's their biggest problem. They need to stay consistent, and when they are good, they're good. As long as they keep doing that, and as long as they get consistent, I think they'll be fine.
I almost feel like had they been playing in front of a packed house the entire game, the outcome may have been a little bit different. Adam, what do you think?
JB, I thought that was one of the best games they played the whole year. This obviously hasn't been their year. The biggest thing I thought, JB, for Binghamton was Andrea Hall. The 4-point play with a little time left. I really thought that still sold the game right there.
24 points for Andrea Holmes, the player from Binghamton, and but this one's wrapped up. Everyone's looking forward to the men's game, but this one's done for. 66-63 is your final. Binghamton Bearcats defeat the University of Albany Great Danes, but wait a second, we got another game coming up. Vermont, everybody, is in the building. Really big game coming up in a little bit. It's going to be starting in a couple of minutes. Over the years, the Vermont Catamounts have really played some great games against the Great Danes of the University of Albany. And, they have been just great. But this year, it's a little different. Vermont, second place in the conference, UAlbany in 4th currently. So this is big for them. They need to, crack the top 3. They need to start, playing games and, just winning. Wins are going to be really big down the last couple of weeks of the season for the University of Albany Great Danes. What do you think, Joe? What's going to happen from here on out?
Well, you mentioned that Vermont's been playing well lately. Doesn't even matter when they play UAlbany. These games are so intense. Everybody remembers 2 years ago when the Danes made it to the NCAA tournament. They went to Vermont and beat them in their own house. And then last year, Vermont came to UAlbany, returned the favor, knocked them out of the America East tournament, and then went on to the NCAA tournament. So this game's going to be intense. It's going to be a fight.
Brian, how do you think the energy in this building? I mean, now, if you look around, and I am right now, there isn't a seat available. I mean, the entire top portion of the arena, this place is packed to its fullest. I'm not the one who's saying it, but maybe some fire codes and regulations are being broke here because this place is packed. It's on fire. Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, JB, I went to the restroom before. I had to wait 2 hours. No, I'm just kidding. There's so much energy in here. There's so much spirit. Everyone is just going crazy. I think it's going to be a really competitive game. Both teams have a very close record in the conference. UA! You know, let's do it.
All right, so we're only minutes away. This is going to be a huge battle between Vermont and Albany for conference standing, battles, down the stretch over the last few weeks. Ashley, what are you expecting?
Well, JB, I'm definitely expecting Will Harris and Tim Ambrose to step up. They've been doing really well the past couple games. They've really been carrying the team. This is their time to shine. This is their time to show their stuff and to make everybody see that they are great players.
Absolutely. This is the time. The University at Albany Great Danes, the men's basketball team, is playing in front of a packed house. Once again, I will say it as many times as I gotta say it for it to get through to you guys. This place, there isn't room for anybody right now. It is packed. Adam, what do you expect in the first half?
JB, I hate to be a dark horse here, but I'm picking Vermont to win this game. I think UA is running into the wrong team at the wrong time. Vermont's won 7 in a row. Even though last time UA won 82-77, I think it's going to be a different story this time. I just don't see how Albany can match with Vermont.
That's big. Adam Manson is a big Great Danes fan, so if he says the Catamounts of Vermont are going to win, hey, this may happen, but we got a big game coming up. Like Adam just noted, when they played earlier in the season, Albany beat Vermont at Vermont. So maybe a little revenge for the Catamounts coming in the next couple of minutes. But we got highlights of the game. It's going to start in a few minutes, but hey, because we got a time machine in the back, we're going to actually go right to the highlights. Let's check them out.
Students ready to go for the men's game against Vermont. The men hoping to fare a little better than the women did earlier on. First half, trouble for Tim Ambrose. Watch here as Mike Trimboli does a little acting. It's an offensive foul on Ambrose, his second, and Coach Will Brown is forced to sit his most efficient scorer only 2 minutes into the first half. Doesn't get any better here as Marcus Blakely finishes the break with a jam. Albany struggled early, but when your starters struggle, you look to the bench. It was Luis Barraza to the rescue. Brian Connolly finds him here for this deep three. And a couple possessions later, it's Barraza again, this time from Mike Johnson. Barraza was a huge lift off the bench for UA. Here we see your basic pick and roll. Brian Connolly sets the pick for Mike Johnson, and the Vermont defenders forget about Connolly. He's gonna nail this J, and that's just simple X's and O's of textbook basketball. The point guard, Anthony Rappa, the freshman, gets involved here. He nails the three from the corner. And towards the end of the first, Barraza still hasn't cooled off. He hits another three, huge lift, his third of the half. But Albany was down 34-28 at the break, as fans aren't happy. Brian, what did you think at the half?
JB, the first half started off pretty sloppy. Both teams are really pumped for this game. I think they were a little nervous. They were going back and forth. One team scored, the other team scored right after that. Tim Ambrose started off with 2 quick fouls, which led him on the bench. On the upside of that, Luis Barraza came out strong off the bench, hit 3 3-pointers, gave Albany good spirit. Second half is going to be 10 times better. Will Brown is a great locker room motivator, and we're going to win this game. I'm Brian Gabay, and that's my first half reaction. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Let's go to the second half. Tim Ambrose gets it from Anthony Rappa. He gets it to go. Ambrose had a big second half. More on him in a second. On the Vermont possession, Marcus Blakely gets it to go with the emphatic jam. And here Mike Johnson's going to find Ambrose beyond the arc. He gets the three-pointer to go. And watch here, Mike Johnson's going to pull a couple of crossovers and just break a couple of ankles right there. And he finds Brian Connolly with the jumper. He can't get it to go, but Tim Ambrose says, give me that. On the offensive rebound, he gets it to go. Tim Ambrose, just what a day for him. I mean, first half, 0 points in just 2 minutes of play. Second half was used as a different person, different player. 29 points in 18 minutes of play. He shot 59% from the field, 7 rebounds and 3 steals, but Tim Ambrose's effort wasn't enough. Kyle McIntosh gets the 3, and Vermont wins 79-70.
Tough loss for the University at Albany, all this hype, and they weren't able to come out with a victory. They lose today 79-70. Big game from Tim Ambrose. We'll get more on him for a second. But, Joe, what do you think that Vermont did well that really basically propelled them to a victory today?
I thought they definitely played better defense than the Danes today. That was the key to the game, without a doubt. It seemed at one point in the second half that the Danes were just missing easy shot after easy shot, and then on the other end of the floor, the Bearcats were throwing up these circus shots that just managed to drop one way or another, and it's tough to watch, to be honest with you.
No, it was very tough. Brian, let's talk about Luis Barraza for a second. He really came in, gave a big spark off the bench. I mean, I'm looking at it here. 5 for 6 field goals to field goals attempted. 5 for 5 from beyond the arc. That's every three-point field goal attempt that he made. He was just on fire today. And what's funny is we saw him practicing in the earlier today, right, when we were setting up.
Definitely, JB. Luis Barraza came out today so strong. He really has heart. Really carried his team well. One thing I got to mention, though, I got to give it up to Tim Ambrose. What a player. What a game. 29 points today. Even the last 5 minutes of the game, he showed that he wanted that win so bad. No one could stop him. No one. Unfortunately, wasn't good enough.
Tough. Let's keep it on Tim Ambrose for a second. Ashley, you know, a couple of minutes into the second half, he gets those 2 quick fouls, and he has to sit. Will Brown has no choice but to sit him. How big of a momentum shift do you think that was for the Great Danes? Because their leading scorer, or one of their leading scorers, has to sit on the bench for the first half.
Well, JB, it's a big momentum shift. You know, Tim Ambrose is a key player for Albany, and for him to get the early fouls, a lot of games, he's really consistent with that. It puts the Danes in a really bad position. He's a great player, and in the second half, you can see how well he turned it on. He really calmed down. I just think he was too pumped up in the first half. You know, with the sellout game, which is completely understandable, but he can't get those fouls. He can't do that. It's going to kill them.
One of the other leading scorers for the Great Danes is Will Harris. Will Harris had a rough day, 1 for 9 from the field, 0 for 4 from beyond the arc. We were talking in the previous episode of Sports Report on how red hot he was from beyond the arc, and 0 for 4 today, 1 for 9 from the field. He had a rough day, didn't he, Adam?
Oh, definitely was a rough day, JB. I expected a lot more out of Will Harris today. 1 for 9 from the field, just wasn't his day today. You know, this is a kid that's, had 3 straight games in double digits before this. So it was real disappointing on his part.
We spoke to Coach Will Brown after the game. He was talking about Will Harris and, how important it is that they get him, in rhythm into the offense. Let's take a listen.
Well, we've got to give Will Harris a pass. He's played, this is our 10th conference game. He's played very well in 9 of the 10 conference games. He struggled tonight. The problem is he's carried us in games before. Other guys needed to step up, especially in the first half when we needed it more than anything, while, Will was struggling. Nobody helped him. And he's not going to, nobody's going to play 16 great games in league play. So, when Timmy or Rafa, whomever's been struggling, Will's carried us. When Will was struggling tonight, we didn't have anybody really chip in outside of Ambrose in the second half. But we're not good enough for Tim Ambrose to have play 2 minutes in the first half. We're not. We need him on the floor. So we've got to find ways to keep him on the floor. Maybe when he commits his first foul, I've got to take him out and sit him for a couple minutes. Maybe I don't start him anymore and bring him off the bench because we need him to play. We're not the deepest team in the world as far as offensive firepower. We struggle to score with the guys that come off the bench for us. So it was nice to see Barraza make some shots tonight. It was nice to see the energy that Mike Johnson played with. But, we need more guys playing well to beat Vermont. How do you describe the floor?
Tough loss today. Will Brown said it best right there. I mean, and you can look behind me. This place emptied out in a hurry. A lot of people were very disappointed in the Great Danes today, but I think Vermont today just proves that they are the better team. I mean, they're in second place in the conference for a reason, but this may not be the last time that the Great Danes play the Catamounts. I mean, we have the America East Tournament coming up next month. That's going to be really huge. It's going to be here in Albany at Seth Q Arena, so be sure to stay tuned for that. That's going to be all fully covered on Sports Report. So, in the end, it's just a rough loss. Vermont ends up winning 79-70. But But hey, it's just one game in the end. While Big Purple Growl is a huge event, it is just one game. It is just one loss. It doesn't count as 2 or 3 losses against the Great Danes. So Will Brown is definitely going to be looking forward to the next game. From the Sports Report team, I'm JB Buno. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night.